Pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth are the 7 deadly sins. Christians will avoid committing any of these 7 deadly sins. They usually live their life based on avoiding sinning one of these 7 deadly sins, and of course more sins, but we're only going to be talking about the 7 deadly sins. If you are not Christian, that does not matter, because it is still good to not commit any of the 7 deadly sins. First off, we got the deadly sin of pride, which means that you are not humble when it comes to your achievements. Of course, you can once in a while say, oh, I'm proud of my achievements, and talk about it a little bit, but don't make it all about yourself. Don't constantly talk about your success. Be humble about it. Treat it as if, for example, let's say I'm proud of my YouTube channel. What I do is I will, be proud of it, and when I get a bunch of subscribers, I'll thank everybody, and I'll say, oh my goodness, I'm getting more popular now. But most of the time, what I do is I focus on being equal to everybody. I view everybody in my community as equal to me. I treat them as if they have done just as much as me. And I hardly ever think of myself as being popular. I just think of myself as being able to entertain a bunch of people, being able to talk to a lot of people, and of course, not just entertaining, but being able to teach a lot of people life lessons. The second deadly sin is greed. Greed is committed when someone is too wrapped up in money. Now, this does not mean that you cannot pinch pennies. You can pinch pennies when you are a young person, because young people do need a lot of money compared to a bunch of older people. If you do something that might cause unnecessary things to happen just so that you can get more money that you really don't need because you already have enough money, then that is greed. If you have a lot of money and there's a person who needs a couple bucks to buy some food and they only have $1, but they need that second dollar, give them a little bit of cash to help them out as well. It is always good to be generous. The third deadly sin is lust. What this means is you are having inappropriate thoughts about just things and possibly even individuals. To stay away from this, what you need to do is don't think an inappropriate thought or an inappropriate thing about any individual. The only time you should ever be thinking an inappropriate thought about somebody is when it's about a person that is your partner. Otherwise, if you are not together with them, then it is wrong to think those thoughts about people. And plus, if you do think those thoughts about those people or things, whatever, it will slowly rot your brain. Your brain will be a lot healthier as soon as you will stop these bad thoughts. The next deadly sin that I'm going to be talking about is envy. This one might be obvious in its name. This basically means when you get jealous of someone, when you constantly compare what you have to what they have. Now, some forms of envy are correct, but in technicality, I don't think these forms of envy are even considered envy. For example, if you are saying that you're thankful for what you have, and if you're thinking that you're thankful for what you have, and if you briefly remember that there is a lot of people that don't have what you have, as long as it's brief and as long as you're focused on appreciating what you have, then I truly believe that that is all right. But don't focus on having less stuff than other people you know or other people online or whatever. It will cause you to see the things that you have with less value. But if you appreciate what you have, it'll cause you to see the things that you have with more value. I have to admit, I did sin the deadly sin of envy. When The Official Brick and Games4 2 both passed me in subscribers, I compared myself to them, and I did not really like that they passed me in subscribers. But ever since, I told myself, I'm going to stop comparing myself to them. That's good that they have their success, but it is not healthy for me to compare myself to them. In reality, The fact that 1,877 YouTube accounts are subscribed to my YouTube channel is still a lot and still something to be very grateful over. The fifth deadly sin is gluttony. Basically, gluttony means you are overindulging in food, in any type of liquid, and I think something else, but just think of this, just if you overindulge in anything. To avoid this, you need to not overindulge in things. When you overindulge in things, basically, that means, and it's quite obvious, that you're intaking more than you actually need. A thing that you should do is treat food like fuel. Try to eat 2 meals a day. Sometimes if you're a little extra hungry and eat 3, then that is fine, but do not overeat. Do not get drunk off of alcohol as well. Lots of people say that the experience is great, but in my personal opinion, I would personally not do it because it will still damage your health. And there are a lot of other ways that you can have fun in your life. Another thing to keep in mind is that you will actually have a really bad hangover if you get drunk too, so I don't recommend getting drunk. There are plenty of people on this planet who do not get as much as a lot of people watching this video. Pretty much all, or at least 99% of the people watching this video have more than a lot of people on this planet. There's a lot of people starving. There's a lot of people who are thirsty. So what you can also do is, and this will also help you stay away from the second deadly sin, is find a good charity that actually is not a scamming charity or, a charity that doesn't actually do what it says, and donate to that good and trusted charity. The fifth deadly sin is wrath. You guys all know that I've committed this deadly sin many times, but recently I am starting to not commit this deadly sin. In fact, actually, ever since I started purposely trying to stay away from this deadly sin, I might have committed this deadly sin once or twice, but when I committed it, it was not nearly as severe as when I didn't focus on not committing this deadly sin and freely got angry. The deadly sin of wrath, if I did not say this yet, is when you let yourself get too angry and when you try to seek revenge as well. Or maybe not even that, but just feel super angry towards a person, even yelling at a person. A thing that I always stuck by is I would never over yell at people. I would only over yell at things, but I think that I should not over yell at things anymore either. Ever since I've tried to purposely stay away from this deadly sin, not only has it been extremely easy, surprisingly, but it has also improved my mood. Staying calm in a situation where I remember I'd normally get mad causes me to just feel better overall that day. And the seventh deadly sin is sloth, which means laziness. This deadly sin means that if you have a bunch of stuff to do, or if you have stuff to do and you just choose not to do it because you're too demotivated to do it, or I should say this, if you just don't want to do it in general, that is sloth. Now, I can understand sometimes you do a bunch of stuff and then you're tired and you don't feel like doing anything else. That is completely fine. You get tired, but make sure to eventually get it done in a reasonable time frame. Don't leave something undone forever. That is committing the sin of sloth, and I'm sure that I've committed this sin many times in the past. What you need to do is when you have the energy, focus on getting things done. After you get something done, you'll start to feel accomplished, you'll start to feel motivated, you'll start to just feel overall happy that you got something done. Here is one large thing I realize. If I go another summer without having a summer job, then my life is actually going to get boring if I'm just constantly on my PC or only doing the once in a while tasks that my parents ask me to do, or only go to places that my parents make me go once in a while. I also need something else to do. When I worked in the past, it occupied part of my time and it made me feel accomplished after doing all those hours of work. And it got me less bored because when I got home every single time from work, I'd hop on my PC all excited, like I was just feeling proud of myself. And since I didn't indulge myself with being on my PC all day, I was not bored of being on my PC. I am in between jobs right now, but do not worry, I will not go another summer without working. I'm going to very quickly list one benefit that you will get from staying away from each of these deadly sins. If you stay away from being too prideful, you will be less reckless, and more people will actually seek you out as a genuine friend. Sure, there will be fans that can never really be a true friend, but you can actually make really good and deep friendships if you stay away from being too prideful. There is proof right here in the JB dragmotoxboss community. I am close friends with many people who were originally fans of my channel. If you stay away from greed, then you will not be too worried over money, and you will actually get to enjoy your life instead of worrying too much about earning more money. You'll also be able to provide assistance for people who actually need money. If you stay away from lust, then your thoughts and your brain will be clearer, and you'll actually get a lot more stuff done, and you'll be more productive. If you stop yourself from being envy, then you'll actually value things for what they should be valued at rather than not valuing them enough. If you commit this deadly sin, then you will have a sadder life for no reason. If you stay away from the sin of gluttony, then you will actually be healthier, which will cause you to live longer. If you stay away from the sin of wrath, you'll also be healthier in this one too, and you'll feel more at peace and you'll feel happier. If you stay away from the deadly sin of sloth, you will feel the thought of getting something done, and you'll feel really proud of yourself, and you'll also feel happy with this one too, with staying away from this one.